Welcome to the Dougie Wuggy Story Hour. Today's story is called Dad's New Car. A true story. When I was, maybe about 12 or something. My dad, whose name is Bob, really wanted a new car. And he knew exactly what he wanted. He wanted a red Volkswagen buggy. I don't know if you've ever seen those cars.
My dad has a Volkswagen.
Well, for those of you listening at home, you guys can Google a 1966 Volkswagen buggy, red, and you'll see a picture of it. It's a cute little car. It's made in Germany by Volkswagen, and they still make them. Yeah. But there weren't that many back then, and my dad really wanted one, and it had to be red. And so he said, come on, we're going to go buy the car. So we all get in our big white station wagon, me and my mom and my two brothers, and we drive over to the Volkswagen dealership. This was in Washington, D.C., and we see a bunch of Volkswagen buggies, but they didn't have a red one. They had white, they had black, they had gray, I think. And the guy said, well, Mr. Cole, I can sell you one of these, but I don't have a red one. My dad's like, I'll wait. I'll pay for it now, and just call me when it gets in. The guy said, yeah, it'll probably be in about a month, because they're bringing it over on a boat from Germany. And my dad's like, okay, I can wait. So my dad pays the guy, whatever, and we go home, and then about a month later, the phone rings, and my dad's like, it's here, the car's ready? And the guy on the other end's like, yes, Mr. Cole, we have your car. And he's like, okay, we'll be down there at like 5 o'clock. So we get in the car, and my mom drives all of us down to the Volkswagen dealership, and there it is. Dad's brand new red Volkswagen buggy. And we're like, oh, that is awesome. I'm so glad you waited for the red one. And he's like, yeah, I really like the red one. And the guy gives him the keys, and we all get in the car. My mom drives the white car home, and we get home, and we just love it. It's just this cute little car. And you know how like the old-fashioned cars have like a stick shift? It's like first gear, and then second gear. Okay, now cars are automatic. You just don't really shift the gears. You just put it in drive. But back then, my dad wanted a gear shift. And so he parks the car in our driveway, which was on a hill like this. And at the end of the driveway was our garage. And my dad parks the car on the hill, puts the brake on really good so the car doesn't roll down the hill and smash into the garage. And he's just like, oh, I love my car. And then he comes out the next day, and he like looks at it again. He takes some pictures of it, and he wanted to send the pictures to his family that lived in Ohio. And he takes us out for a couple of rides around town, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. And then I'm like, Dad, how does the gear shift work? And he's like showing me, okay, this is first gear, the second gear, third gear, fourth gear, reverse. I'm like, cool. And so he comes home, he parks the car in the driveway, puts on the brake, and he says, I'm going to go take a nap. So he goes upstairs to the bedroom. I think my mom was cooking or something. And it was like a Sunday afternoon. I was bored. There was nothing to do. I said, I'm going to go in the car and just go check it out. You know, have you ever like pretend to drive your parents' car?
Yeah.
You like get in the driver's seat and you just kind of like pretend you're driving. And
Yeah. I do that with my car.
yeah. So I got Dad's keys. I unlock the car. I sit in the driver's seat. My feet could barely even touch the pedals because I was kind of short, you know. And I couldn't really touch the pedals, but I pretended I was driving. And then I started playing with the gear shift. But what I didn't realize is if you move the gear shift from first gear into neutral, it unlocks the brake. And all of a sudden, the car starts rolling down the hill towards the garage door. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like trying to stomp on the brakes. I couldn't even reach the brakes. I'm like, I'm like trying to pump the brakes. And the car's picking up speed. I'm like, oh my God, get ready for impact. And the car hits the garage door, makes this gigantic crash, completely destroys the whole front end of Dad's new car. It got smushed. It looked like Miss Piggy's nose that I just showed you the picture of. And not only that, I completely destroyed the garage door. It was a double damage. I completely mess up Dad's 3-day-old car, and I completely mess up our garage door, and the house had recently been painted. And my dad comes running out. He's like, oh my God. And I'm just in the car, just like frozen with like fear and like, oh, I was just like, and my mom comes running out and my brothers come running out. And I was like, whoa. And my dad's like, what did you do? I said, I'm sorry. I was messing with the gear shift. He said, if you move the gear shift, it unlocks the brake. I'm like, I didn't know that. I'm really sorry, Dad.
Yeah, you did.
And he just, well, I shouldn't have been messing around in his car, for one thing.
But it's also his fault because he never told you about the neutral.
Well, that wasn't his job to tell me that. It was my job not to mess around with his car and steal his car keys and sneak in his car. And without asking permission. Okay. And then my dad's like, oh my gosh. So on Monday morning, he calls the car dealership. He's like explaining to them. And they're like, okay, we'll send a tow truck over, Mr. Cole. They send a tow truck over. They tow the car to the body shop where they fix it. And they said, okay, it's going to be probably another month because we have to get the parts from Germany. The parts are on a boat. And my dad's like, really? Another boat? A slow boat from Germany? And so finally, like a month later, they call and they're like, Mr. Cole, your car is ready. And we drive over. My mom drives over there in the white station wagon, and there's Dad's car all fixed up. Looks perfect. It looks just brand new. And he's like, finally. And he looks at me and goes, you are not going to get in this car this time unless one of us is with you. I'm like, I won't. I promise. And he drives home. He puts the car in the driveway, and he double locks the brake this time. Puts it in gear, and then he takes the handbrake, and he puts it really strong. And he said, don't even think about it. I'm like, I'm not thinking about it. But guess what? I got a little bit of a punishment for what I did.
Poop patrol!
I had to go on poop patrol. Now, what is poop patrol, you ask? Well, we had jobs in our house. There was raking the leaves. We had a big backyard. In the winter, one of us had to shovel the snow in the driveway. And then there was different jobs around the house, unloading the dishwasher and things like that. But the job none of us liked was having to go and pick up the doggy poop in the backyard. It was called poop patrol. And every 3 weeks, one of the brothers had to go on to poop patrol. But guess what? I had to do poop patrol for 3 weeks in a row. That was my punishment for wrecking Dad's new car. And did I learn my lesson?
Yeah.
Well, sort of. Yes, I did. I never messed up Dad's car again. But I did have other troubles with cars that got me back on poop patrol. Do you want to hear that?
Yes!
So maybe about a year after that, I did something really naughty. Well, I didn't mean to, but a friend and I we were walking home from we had gone bowling. Every Saturday we would go bowling, and we were old enough to go up ourselves. And on the way home, there was this big pile of rocks, and we really liked throwing rocks, not to try and damage something, but to try and hit a tree or something. And we're throwing rocks. I hit a tree, it bounces off the tree, ricochets off, and hits this car in a parking lot and completely smashes the windshield.
I knew you
completely smashed it. And I'm like, oh, let's get out of here. And my friend and I, we just like run home. And I'm like really upset. And I'm trying to hide it from my mom. And she can, your parents can sometimes kind of tell if you're,
you're guilty.
I had a guilty face. And she's like, Doug, everything okay? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, Doug, I can tell. What's wrong? I said, nothing. She's like, Doug, tell me the truth. Can't be that bad. I'm like, okay, I'll tell you. And I'm trying not to cry, but I was like really upset. And I said, I threw a rock and it hit a tree and it bounced off and it completely smashed this guy's windshield. And she's like, okay, we're going back up there. It was a Safeway parking lot. And about an hour later, we drive back up there and we drive to the spot. And we see all the glass on the ground, but the car was gone. So whoever was the owner of the car had driven it away. They must have really been upset when they came out with their groceries, like, my car! Ah! And my mom said, okay, you got lucky this time, but you are going to have a punishment. And I'm like, what? She said, you're back on poop patrol. I'm like, no, not back on poop patrol. And that is the story of Dad's new car and Dougie on Poop Patrol. Give me a nice round of applause. This is Dougie Wuggy over and out. And what's the moral of today's stories? Okay, moral number 1, don't mess around in your parents' car unless they're in there, because it can cause trouble. And secondly, do not throw rocks anywhere near a parking lot, because rocks can bounce and they can smash a windshield. And the third thing is, try and stay off of Poop Patrol, please. Thank you, and Dougie Wuggy over and out. See you next time.